Welcome everyone to the Empath X community call. Really excited to be back with community this Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. I am Jeremy, and we are here as a community without conditions to bring what is authentically ours, our unique gift of being who we were made to be as individuals here, joining as a collective. I'm adding extra words to the mission statement here, but if you'd like, you can go see more over on empathx.org. Over there, we have a a whole bunch of things. There's an archive, there's a schedule you can look into, the Facebook group, the space to make a contribution if you'd like. And with that being said, every week we have a facilitator. This week is Karen, and she's going to be talking with us about why we write. So, Karen, so excited to hear from you today.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Hmm.
Um, there are a lot of, if you hang out with writers, you hear a lot of shibboleths about writing. You hear a lot of sayings like show, don't tell, and write what you know. And like so many of them, write what you know is one that has actually kept probably more people from writing than it has encouraged to write because when I was younger, I thought, well, I knew that I didn't know anything. It's like I haven't had any life experiences. What do I know? What do I have to offer the world? Right? I've never been a pirate. I've never taken a company public. I've never even fought wildfires in the Alaskan tundra. Why? What would anyone want to hear from me? Well, that really should be not write what you know, but write what you feel because that is what we know, and shared human emotion is what connects us. And so that kind of takes the onus off of, you have to go out and get a bunch of life experience before you're interesting enough to write. You're already interesting enough exactly where you are. Um, but it's not enough to know that we have this shared emotion. You need to you need to learn how to divine the meaning in your own work. Um, because the writing process is a search for meaning. The stories that we tell each other are the way that we connect, and they have been since the beginning of recorded time. Um, Myths and legends, every culture has them, and they're remarkably similar across cultures. The details may be different, but every culture has a creation myth. Everybody has a hero's journey, story, coming of age stories. Shakespeare did not invent the idea of star-crossed lovers when he wrote Romeo and Juliet. And King Lear, was based on the primal desire for legacy and the primal fear of betrayal. So these common themes recur. Why? Because they make meaning of our existence. And so when we write, it's part of our job as writers to discover what that meaning is in order to strengthen the message, in order to better connect with our readers, because I assume it's that we're all writing to make that connection, even if we're just writing for ourselves. Maybe especially if we're just writing for ourselves, we're writing to connect to that inner part. Um, Meaning uh, can really only be discovered in the subconscious. Uh, why? I think if it were safer for us to discover these things about ourselves, they'd already be in our conscious mind. But they come to us in our subconscious in the language of dreams, which is symbol and metaphor. And then it's our job as writers to interpret those and you know, we dream in pictures, but we speak in words. So to make that translation. And in order to do that, we have to understand what it is that we're about. So I've talked here before about some methods for sort of getting to partner with your subconscious. We're probably all familiar with automatic writing, familiar with dream journaling. Um, I've talked about the secret story technique, which is where you ask yourself a question before you go to bed, and then you do automatic writing in the morning. Put that away for some period of time, and then you take it out and circle the words and phrases that kind of leap off the page at you, because those are the messages from your subconscious. What I haven't talked a lot about is sort of what to do with that once you've sort of done that process. How do you get in there and decipher that text? How do you tell what it is that your subconscious is trying to tell you? Um, I'll use an example from, and right off the top, I will admit, far easier to do with somebody else's work than your own.
Mm,
Far, far easier.
mm.
Because these are things we've hidden from ourselves, right? These are things often that we deny or suppress. So I had a client recently who brought me a manuscript, and it was not a terribly deep story, but that doesn't matter. What we believe and who we are is going to come out in the story. And so it was kind of a sort of a caper story. It was a guy who kind of was doing shady business deals and and kind of getting in deeper and deeper with some bad people, and bad things happen to him. And along the way, he is like sleeping with every woman who comes across his path, right?
Ah,
He's a dog, okay? And he treats them as objects, and this is just a part of who he is. And at the end of the story, he's double crossed, and the bad guys get him. And he's double crossed by this woman who's kind of been his sidekick. And they kind of sleep together every once in a while, and she's sort of, kind of in it with him or whatever. And I said, why did she double cross him? And he said, for the money. I said, no, 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 no. She double crossed him because she's in love with him, and he's sleeping with all of these other women.
mm,
And it was, to me, it was very clear. It was right there. It's like, this is not something I'm imposing on your story. This is a story that you told me. Didn't see it. Um, I published a short story years ago that it took me a long time to finish because I had written it and I wasn't happy with it. I knew I had not found the meaning. I knew I had not found the key to make this story work. It was about a man and a boy who go walking in the desert. On the spur of the moment, they're out there unprepared, they don't have water with them, and they get lost,
mm,
and bad things happen. And it was an okay story, but for the longest time, I knew there's something missing, and why are they out there? Why? I knew that that was important to the story, but I didn't know the answer. And then I looked and I reread the opening to the story. There was a word in there that had been in there since the first draft. This 8-year-old boy, is laying on the front seat of the car, and his hand is trailing languidly down to the floorboards.
mm,
And his father looks at him and gets irritated. And I thought,
mm,
languid is an interesting adjective for an 8-year-old boy. This is not something you typically apply to a boy. And why is the father pissed off about it? Well, it what I came to was he's out there with the kid driving away from home because he just had a fight with his wife. He's desperately afraid his son is gay, and he's blaming it on the wife, and he's going to show her. And now they're out in the desert because he's out to prove something about manhood. And it became a story thematically about toxic masculinity. Now,
mm,
I didn't sit down to write, I'm going to write a story about toxic masculinity, but
mm,
all of my beliefs about that came out in this story. And the key to it was a single word that my subconscious went bleh threw out on the page from the first draft because I believe it knew what I was after all along. Um, that's about 10 minutes. One of the things that I did in preparation for this was I went back through some notes to see whether I could find something where I had the notes and I sort of had the automatic writing and it had turned it into something. And I had something like that to read, but it's probably going to take me another 10 minutes to get through it. So I don't know if you're
Oh,
interested in
yeah,
an
yeah.
example.
Feels like
I
a
can read this.
interesting audience.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will read it. And this, by the way, is from 2003. And I still have not finished the short story, but this has made me interested in picking it back up and finishing it because I think I finally, after 22 years, know what I'm writing about.
Mm,
Okay, so I had done the secret story process and I had come up with a list of words from that first automatic writing that I wrote at the top of a page, and then I did, sort of a reaction to those, free association. So the words that I had from my first time around were Africa, ivory, beach, Jesus, peeling skin, and relief.
mm.
And this is what I wrote on those stories. This gets very rambly, but what you'll see is that it kind of keeps circling back on itself and it's honing in on a story. The story is about a woman on a beach in Africa who's trying to get away from her husband. There is a woman who is me writing a story about a woman who is on a beach in Africa.
Mm,
The woman in the story is trying to get away from her husband, but she doesn't know that yet. What does she know? She knows the sand is warm. She knows the sun feels good. She knows Ivory is wrong, but Jesus is right. And Ivory Jesus is a contradiction. The woman who is me is writing a woman who is me who is stuck in a contradiction. Jesus is right and good, but what did Jesus do? He sacrificed. Like the woman is sacrificing herself to her marriage? Maybe, but it doesn't serve a purpose. It serves one man. It serves her husband, who is a prick, who we don't care about. We want her to get away. She is offered an ivory Jesus, and it is beautiful and delicate and seems to belong on this beach in Africa and seems to be pure like the sand and good like Jesus, but is made of ivory. He's on the cross. He's hanging on the cross. He is sacrificed. The end of the cross is pointed. You can stick it in the ground. You can stick it in someone's chest. It's a
mm,
holy item, but you can use it to kill someone. How many people has the church killed? Not to mention cultures, like the African cultures in South America, swallowed up by Jesus-toting missionaries. The African people make art. Some make art that is so holy it can't be looked at. They hide it away after it's carved behind curtains and leave sacrifices to the god it represents. It is deemed too beautiful for human eyes, like the beaches in Africa or a ragged mountain that grows up behind. There's a woman writing a story. The woman is me. She doesn't know what the story is. She wonders what the ivory means and what the woman means and what Jesus means and why is the skin peeling? Peeling skin is something we look forward to before we were the woman on the beach or the woman writing the story. Peeling skin from a sunburn. It felt good to peel. It itched so much after the burn that when the peeling came, it was a relief to peel it and scratch it and feel good peeling and scratching. It felt good coming off, like shedding something no longer needed, something not evil, but just dead. It tickled coming off, and then after the tickle, you could scratch to get rid of the itch and the tickle and the itch the tickle caused. And there was new skin underneath. And we thought that the new skin meant you could start over, but we didn't know that the burn left something behind that might turn to cancer later and kill us when we were a woman on a beach in Africa or a woman writing a story. We didn't know our father had skin cancer and skin cancer and skin cancer, and they whittled his nose a little more each year until there was nothing left. Peeling skin just felt good. It was such a relief. We would try to peel off the largest patches, trying to get it off in one piece if we could. If we could peel the whole back in one piece, one big sheet of skin coming off, that would tickle and itch and then be scratched to blessed relief, and have lotion spread upon it, tender and pink, still a little itchy, but not so as before it was peeled. If we could do that in one big sheet, something would happen and it would be great. We peeled each other's backs lying on the floor of the den and peeling each other's backs and putting the pieces of skin in little papery stacks to the side of the person lying on the floor. Then we would scratch and it was like heaven. Blessed relief. The woman writing the story is chasing it down the beach like a papery piece of peeled skin, flying in the away in the breeze before her, just out of reach of her fingertips. She almost thinks she knows what it means, but she's too busy chasing to hear it. The pointed cross, the pointed crucifix of ivory on the Ivory Coast, given to the woman by an African whose life has been stolen by Jesus. No, not stolen, not even given. It is about duplicity to remain who you are. The African humors the missionaries. He thinks them funny, like precocious children. He calls himself a Christian and went to the missionary school to learn to read, and he read about Jesus and goes to the missionary church on Sundays, but he keeps a carved monkey god in his house that he never looks at because it's holy. He carved it himself, but the beauty of it was too great, and so he never looks at it, but his family comes to lay sacrifices outside the curtained alcove where it sits. He makes crosses and he carves crosses and Jesus out of ivory, which pleases the missionaries, but they don't know that he sells them to tourists who think they're holy. But he knows it's okay. He knows it's okay to take money. It's not profane because it's just Jesus and not the beautiful monkey god. He thinks Jesus is a good luck charm to these people. They're like precocious children, the tourists, and he makes a living from them selling ivory. Jesus is on the beach in Africa. It's pointed because he thinks the cross was pointed to stick in the ground. And don't they want to stick it in the ground and pray to it the way they pray to the hanging Jesus in the church?
mm,
The woman on the beach in Africa meets the man who carved Jesus on the cross out of ivory. It's wrong to carve ivory. The missionaries don't approve and they say he's not worthy to carve Jesus, but they have not seen the beautiful monkey god. She
mm,
does not know it's ivory. Or she knows it's ivory, but she wants it anyway. She knows it's ivory and it's illegal, but it's so elegant and delicate and clever, and the pointed end reminds her of something, but the woman writing the story doesn't know what that is. It looks like a weapon, and it could be one. It looks like a weapon, and she wants to kill her husband, but she's a good person, and killing is wrong, even with this beautiful, delicate ivory Jesus who would plunge into his heart and make him good. It's about duplicity to remain who you are. It's about hiding and then not hiding anymore. It's about peeling skin away to see what is underneath, even if what is there is damaged by something that happened long ago, may even be waiting to kill you. It's such a
Mm.
relief to finally be what it is, because it is you, a woman lying on the beach in Africa, and a woman writing about a woman lying on a beach in Africa.
Mm.
And from that, I have the start of a story about a woman lying on a beach in Africa, and a man comes up. And it starts off, she had been thinking rather matter-of-factly about killing her husband when the man selling ivory Jesuses came by.
Hey, carrying that one
So,
on.
so this is an example of what I'm talking about, what can happen. And I think the story that's emerging for me, having read that again after 22 years,
Mm,
is more clear. Wasn't clear at the time, but I just went with, I don't know what these words mean. I've never been to Africa,
mm,
but there are themes in here that have shown up in my work before. This idea that something that that you think was helping you is going to harm you in the future.
mm,
That the things that you do rather thoughtlessly in the now can show up later to harm you. This is something that's shown up in my work, and it's a theme that obviously is something that's very deep with me. And next time that I speak, I'm going to speak about thematic statement, which is kind of the end point of this whole process that I've been talking about today.
Cool. Wow.
Fabulous.
Voila.
Thank you.
ta-da.